push me against the structure once again? Yes, and proceed this way. Yes, and proceed this way.
神舟7号请讲。
仪表显示轨道舱火灾，注意检查。
It seems more like an excuse to get out and show their other space trick, which is the faking of spacewalks in a swimming pool. In this vid, you catch a glimpse of someone wearing a scuba tank. Scuba tanks in space?
NASA does nothing in space. Their spacewalks are done underwater in water tanks. The video is sped up, so it looks more natural. But yeah, they're underwater, and the video is sped up, and they do this on the Hubble Space Telescope as well. So that's how you know the Hubble Space Telescope never existed in orbit. This is all bullshit. Tossing some bullshit, and a bubble appears at 3:39 in this video. And it takes an odd trajectory because it's in a water pool. And then this thing pretty much stops its trajectory. I don't know how they make this. I don't know if it's actually there. But there it is spinning. It's not going anymore. Houston, we have a problem. Space is broken. Sorry, U.S. government. I have to show them the bubble. There's the bubble in the pool that we just saw. Yep, doesn't even go in a straight line. It's in a water pool. Takes a very odd trajectory because the water is actually moving around. It's not still. Spacewalking astronauts release baby satellite. It was just a baby. He cast the 4-inch box off with his gloved right hand as it I don't even want to say that because that shit doesn't exist. Sailed 260 miles above blah blah blah. Oh, he cast out the baby with his hand. So that's how we deploy satellites nowadays? Where did he keep it? Was it keistered? U.S. spacewalks, meanwhile, remain on hold. Oh, can't you boys play nice? What, isn't there enough water for everybody? The Russians are going to keep the space station now, or what? Should we go to war with them? I think World War III should break up or start on the International Space Station, and then we'll fight it on land. Make the fucking thing worth it and entertaining. Keister more satellites, though. These stories are funny. I didn't know that we had baby satellites. Just trying to figure out, where did this bubble originate from? It came from his glove, it looks like. On the right hand side. You can tell that the bubble came from the thumb on his glove. What does that mean? It came from his spacesuit? I don't know. All these spacewalks are always done underwater. Yep, this is how they deploy satellites now. They just toss them at the planet. Fake ass shit. Yep, spacewalks are done underwater. The Hubble Space Telescope doesn't exist because when they had to do spacewalks on it, you can watch them. They're done underwater. It's ridiculous. The whole Hubble Space Telescope is bullshit. This video is called iJustine and NASA permed hair women on zero-G planes. So this video is about zero-G planes and women on board them, including NASA women. Now the only thing we care about is the women's hair, because iJustine's hair is normal. It flows naturally in the air, as hair would do in a zero-G environment. But the NASA women, they have perms, because it's part of the hoax. Sometimes these zero-G planes are grounded, and the women take photos. And because their hair is permed, it looks like they're still in a zero-G environment. So that's why the women, the NASA women, have their hair permed. They're deceiving you. iJustine's hair is not going to be fixated like this. Her hair is going to flow naturally in the air as she bounces around. And this woman, who's supposed to be an astronaut, her hair is going to stay fixated the entire time. No matter how she bounces around or when she lays down, the entire time, her hair will stay fixated in these videos. She's on a zero-G plane. She is not on an actual International Space Station in space, because that does not exist. Here she is pretending to work out, and she could totally be on the ground. The plane can be grounded because her hair is permed, and you would not know the difference. So that's why her hair would be permed for this hoax, is to maintain consistency. That's why they do that. It's for the illusion. So when they take other pictures on the ground, they don't always have to be on the zero-G plane in the air. They could also be on the ground with their fixated hair, take pictures, and they'll pass as them being in space. So let's see what I'm talking about and pay attention to their hair and how it acts in the air, and you will see that something is seriously wrong.
Right there. Zero freaking fantastic gravity.
Handstand!
I think I'm gonna do a flip.
Do it. You just did.
Oh my god! I am freaking good.
What is happening?
Here's another scene with Catherine Katie Coleman. Seems to be done in the suspended mode. Have a look at her hair. There's something odd about her hair. I know this is zero gravity and hair is supposed to stick out and go all over the place, but her hair doesn't really flop around naturally. It's always sticking out kind of rigidly. Maybe they permed it in that position, or perhaps they're hanging her upside down. As she shakes her head from side to side slightly, you can see the hair always springs back to a particular position with respect to her head. It should flop all over the place.
That have even wider
I fucking hate you, NASA. I had to learn about perms because you perm your female astronauts for the fake International Space Station hoax. You guys are fucking bitches.
Wet or damp and frizz as much.
Do female astronauts get frizzy perm? Well, they're not really doing the hoax for that long, so the answer to that is no. Is she in space? Because she looks like one of the NASA astronauts. I think this woman might be on board the International Space Station. I think I've seen this before. This is like the women on the International Space Station. I never watch iJustine. I think she's so annoying, but at least she works to prove that NASA is a complete fucking hoax. Yeah, we should check out her video and see how hair is supposed to behave in zero gravity. It is not like what you see with the female astronauts aboard the fake International Space Station. Yep, in space, hair is springy and it flows and it goes. It floats around, it doesn't stay fixated like it's a fucking perm. Is this where all the water accumulates? This woman's hair is complete bullshit. It's traveling through air, she's bouncing all over the place. It shouldn't be springing back into this shape.
A couple of our crewmates. And there's also a second bathroom here, which is really cool. You want to find something for breakfast. And this is our kitchen. You might notice there's all sorts of foods here where you find all the candy. Little power bars just in case. So we have all this type of food. Some of it is Pretty yummy. Not only is this food made in the U.S., but we also have food here from Japan. I make my fluffernutter with peanut butter. So you have a lot of food up here. Sit in the Soyuz, and you sort of sit in your seat like this. The seat is molded to your body, and so you can just sort of squish in here and be relaxed. Everybody has a handmade. Somehow it seems like we all managed to get in here, and we'll be home on the planet within the next 12 hours. Pretty shocking.
Here's the moon added with computer. Now look how it's moving along. Is that the moon's orbit? Fuck no, that's not the moon's orbit. It's going in a straight line on the bottom of the screen. It's not even the moon's orbit. It doesn't orbit the Earth like that. This is so ridiculous. The video isn't choppy. Why is the moon so choppy? Earth is surrounded by a great swirling vortex of trash. Are these satellites? Well, maybe. Or maybe it's just space debris. Instead of reading that bullshit, let's see if it makes any sense, because they have a solution to space debris. Debris Drone 1. Let's check it out. Space debris in real life would not be traveling in a single trajectory over the Earth. The Earth is incredibly huge, and it would be spread out all over the place. And since the space debris doesn't come down to Earth and it just stays up there, it must be traveling at 17,500 miles an hour. So this debris would be all over the place, traveling at different trajectories, crisscrossing, and they want you to believe that they have to send something up into space to catch up to all of it and get it. How large is the Earth? All of this would not be following single file in a straight line. It would be scattered all over the place, and over time, it would start crisscrossing. If you were to go to a piece of space debris, it would be isolated. This stuff is supposed to be traveling at 17,500 miles an hour because it always maintains its orbit. It is not falling to Earth. So it must be traveling at that speed. And here they go. Oh, get the little particles of space debris. And then they have a camera with little lights and a claw from that old school video game that you like so much. And if you're good at the claw, you're good at grabbing big pieces of space debris and putting it in a little box. Now, since this thing has a camera, why not record it and show it to the public? Wouldn't this be cool to watch? No, they're not going to do that. This is ludicrous. Space debris would be completely isolated and going in completely different trajectories. And since it's traveling at 17,500 miles an hour, Debris Drone 1 would have to go all over the place and constantly change its trajectory and go at a different speed all over again. It would never get anything. This whole thing is ludicrous. And then when it's filled up, it does not send the package down to Earth to be incinerated. No, the whole thing gets burned up in Earth's atmosphere. So how many space debris Drone 1s will you have to send into space? Because NASA claims there's 500,000 pieces of space debris. So you'd have to send thousands of these things. And look at the camera. Why can't we watch this thing in action? Prove that this thing exists. They're never going to do it. I mean, if you have somebody manipulating the claw with video, you can record the video and show the public. Oh, here we go. We got to burn it up now. The whole thing is useless. It's absolutely absurd. And then the space debris is not all in the same level. There's varying levels, and the further you get away from the Earth, the more surface area you're covering in orbit. And then they pretend it's all following the single trajectory. It's a complete joke. They have to pretend they're doing work in space. Spacewalks are filmed underwater. They don't actually do them. Nobody ever questions an International Space Station spacewalk when space debris apparently are a danger. Imagine a little piece of grain of sand. It really doesn't matter what size this is. If it's space debris and it's traveling at 17,500 miles an hour and it hits you, you're dead. It's going to go through your suit. It's going to go through your body. You're a goner. Yet they're never worried about space debris. They never talk about it. Every once in a while you hear that the International Space Station had to change its orbit to avoid space debris. It's ridiculous. How do they monitor this? With radar? I want to be on the camera and see this thing in action. Will we ever see that? No. Absolutely ridiculous. So it gets the little bits on the side, and the claw gets the big bits. What about the medium-sized bits? Do the panels just get broken? Do you gotta catch it in the box? This shit is absolutely absurd, and nobody questions it. So apparently somebody is manually moving that claw. And they gotta put it into the box. And this cannot be shown to the public. They will not record this for you. And then the thing gets burned up. So they have to send another debris drone 1 into space. They say there's more than 500,000 pieces of space debris. They say there's a lot. And they show you articles about it in the news. And there are other satellites that they're making, like the one with the octopus claw. It's a little bit different than this. But they just do it to pretend this shit is a factor, just to pretend they're actually doing something in space. New Earth-sized planet found. So one day NASA might actually say that they found life in the universe, because they keep pushing shit that is not true. All of this is nonsense. Telescopes in the solar system, satellites, they do not exist.
In a star about 500 light years away, the planet called Kepler 186f is about the same size as Earth. As this artist's interpretation shows,
this is not science. They want you to believe that aliens can come here.
It's an essential condition.
So they tell you that there's hundreds of billions of galaxies in the universe.
NASA planetary scientists.
They will not talk about chemtrails. They will pretend it's contrails. But if you're interested in aliens, all day long on the internet, all day long, even in the news, ABC News will talk about UFOs. This is bullshit. Satellites do not exist. This is not science. They make this shit up.
A closer relative than most of the hundreds of others discovered so far. Some are massive gas-covered giants with thick, crushing atmospheres. Others orbit too closely to their stars and are too hot for life. 2 planets discovered last year are in the right orbit and might be good candidates for life, Quintana
All
says,
bullshit.
but they're a bit bigger than Earth.
For the first time, we can actually say that Earth-sized and in orbit.
So the day NASA claims that they found life in the universe, they're probably going to say it's from a chemical composition for measuring the light from the planet. And the only way it can exist like that is if there's life on it. And that's what they're going to say. When they make the announcement that they found life in the universe, that's what it's going to be. These fucking satellites, these telescopes do not exist. This is not science.
That would take a more sophisticated space telescope. But budget cuts
NASA doesn't even do science. Even their climate change data, something that can be real, something they can actually do, is bullshit. Our world is controlled by the Jesuit order. NASA is just this little tool that the Jesuit order uses to lie to the world. Just like the CIA. The CIA is a bigger tool than fucking NASA. The CIA are fucking terrorists. We are a base of operations for what the Jesuit order wants to do to the world. Humanity is becoming enslaved. Our rights are being destroyed. The American people will be disarmed in the future. That's why you have fake shooting after fake shooting after fucking fake shooting. The media is nonsense. Everything you see on the news is controlled bullshit. Even your documentaries like the BBC and National Geographic, controlled bullshit. Stop watching television, you're being lied to. You would want to know the truth, and if you want to know the truth, just start researching, looking at evidence. Stop being lied to.